KDJ's weekly picks on game day 1 are brought to you by Veolia and White Plains Hospital. The calendar has slipped to October, and we are now into, well, as much as I love summer, this is the best time of the year. Getting into the football season, we are entering week 4, and now we end into the best time of the week, which is me somehow predicting the future here with our picks for week 4, brought to you by Veolia. Very exciting, good week of football ahead, starting with Friday night. Really the only football game on Friday night. Of course, it's going to be in the Catholic League, as most schools are off on Thursday and Friday in public school, and that is St. Anthony's coming to Iona Prep for a Friday night showdown, a game you can watch on Local Live. Great game, great matchup of two teams that have elite quarterbacks. Gary Merrill, will start with him from St. Anthony's, the number 2, and some would say maybe even number 1 lacrosse recruit in the country, going to UNC. He's as good as advertised this year, over 1,100 yards of total offense for his in 5 games so far, 15 total touchdowns, scoring off against Iona Prep quarterback Julian Guzman, who's done pretty well for himself as well. 900 yards total, passing 7 touchdowns, averaging 11 yards per carry on the ground. And this Iona Prep team, I think we're headed for a shootout. I think these two teams are going to go up and down the field. It's going to be about whomever makes that stop late in the game. I think Iona Prep's defense has been good enough recently, and what we saw against Stepanak, these last 2 weeks against Stepanak and St. John the Baptist, I think Iona Prep's back on course. I think they're back headed to go play for a championship on that road, and they get a huge momentum boost by they beating St. Anthony's, as I think they will on Friday night. Give me 34-31 Gales in that matchup. Our next matchup, we go to Class AA in Section 1. Who's had a better week than Mamaroneck? This is a team that's coming off of a amazing win over Carmel. They go on a walk-off field goal as time expires to beat the 3-time defending Section 1 champions. Momentum now should be on their side going into Arlington against another team that's also coming off an emotional win, which won in the final seconds over their rival, John Jay's Fishkill. Jaden Tuttle making the big plays in that game, whether it's a receiver, as a kick returner, and of course as a defensive back, interception late in the game. He's facing off against the Mamaroneck team. They found something with Kieran Jacobson. 338 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, and I think the most important thing in this game, he was 25 of 45 passing, 45 pass attempts against this Carmel defensive front. It says a lot about his ability to get rid of the football quickly, and they're able to protect him. I think the Rams go and they beat Arlington, but I think it's going to be a close, low-scoring game. I think 20-16, the Mamaroneck Tigers win again, and they build momentum going into Week 5. Carmel, as we said, picking themselves off the ground after last week's loss at home to Mamaroneck. I think it took a lot of pressure off Carmel to lose last week, and I think they're going to be a better team because of it. Tristan Werlau, against his North Rockland defense, they're going to have a hard time stopping him. Werlau has been up over 150 to 200 yards all 3 games so far. Just a terrific talent. And North Rockland, as we said, we know they have great talent as well. Jaquan Johnson has been exceptional, averaging over 7 yards per carry, 7 touchdowns so far for the Red Raiders. Chase Perini, he's been awesome as well as a quarterback, 550 yards passing on the season. But I think Carmel goes to North Rockland and they find a way to win. I could see this being very similar to what Carmel's done last 2 weeks. Losing at halftime, make a run. They take the lead in the second half. I think they win 28-21. Let's go to Class B with Pelham going on the road to play Pleasantville. Now, this is a Pelham team that struggled the last 2 weeks, only put up 7 points in each of the last 2 games, facing a Pleasantville defense that is won because of defense, and they ended the losing streak by beating Ardsley last week and didn't score an offensive touchdown. I think Pleasantville is still sort of figuring things out at home at Parkway Field. They are so tough to beat. Louis Sadow is back. I think he stabilizes things in the backfield. We saw him run for just over 70 yards last week. Defensively, so important in the middle, and he's going to give some trouble to this Pelham offensive line, and I think he's going to get in the backfield, make tackles. I think Pleasantville wins. I think they win in a very Pleasantville way right now. They win 14-10, a little bit of an ugly game, but they find a way to be victorious. Over in Rockland County in Class B, the Little Brown Jug is on the line between Nanuet and Pearl River. Nanuet, obviously a very difficult loss in overtime last year to Pearl River after beating them the last couple seasons before that. I think Nanuet is just a little bit deeper and a little bit of a better football team right now. We saw last week Pearl River coming in, flying high against Westlake, and Westlake just kind of lined it up and ran it at them, and they had a hard time stopping it. That's the MO of Nanuet, and that's what they do best. I think Evan Moran has a big game, and I think Nanuet's offensive line just sets a tone. They keep the ball away. They're going to squeak this one out. I think they win 14-13, another Little Brown Jug classic. Then we go to Sunday. Very few games, only 3 games on Sunday. The big game, though, Eastchester traveling to Harrison. Now, these are 2 teams that are both 3-1 in Class A, angling for postseason seeding, and two rival programs that are now squaring off once again. Harrison, we know the injuries. The injuries have been a problem for the Huskies so far this season, but they're sort of finding ways to win despite it all, and they're doing it with great defense. Artem Beledimaj, as we know, best defensive lineman in Class A, maybe in entire Section 1. He's going to go up against Vin Chiffone from Eastchester, the running back who has really been the workhorse back. He's got great talent around him in the backfield. This Eastchester team has also been very good defensively. As we said, they've only allowed 10 points per game so far in 4 games this season. Harrison's only given up 19 points last 3 weeks. I think we see another defensive struggle, and I think Eastchester finds a way. I think just have this feeling that, the big stage, the Eagles, they beat Harrison 13-10 on the road to improve to 4-1. A lot of good games this weekend. Hope to see you out at them. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. Who do you like? I want to thank Veolia, our partners, for being here and helping us make our predictions every week. KDJ's weekly picks on Game Day 1 are brought to you by Veolia and White Plains Hospital.